guys ever come back to this part of the country again, I wish I'd have thought of it earlier. You don't have to worry about a hotel.
Yeah, man, that's great to hear, man.
She has a house that's unbelievable, right on the golf course. Then if you want to rough it, by the time you come back, I'll have my sewer put in and everything. You can stay up at my little house on the mountain.
Hey, dude, that sounds awesome, man. We appreciate you.
I have the house and I have a Class A motorhome sitting there. You're going to see it today.
Okay.
That's our journey. You guys ate lunch yet?
We have not. We had a little bit of coffee and some donuts, but nothing crazy.
What we're going to do later, when we make our route, we're going to go to Fox Country Store and have one of their famous burgers and fries.
That's the jail.
Imagine getting locked up in there with a half a dozen other people.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting.
I played football and I had 2 braids down the middle of my back. The owner paid me to cut my hair, and I had 2 braids this long when they cut them off.
So you've always had long hair?
I always had long hair. Kind of goes with I'm 75% Cherokee and a quarter Irish, so.
So that's where the Cherokee Charlie comes from?
Mm-hmm. Good. The shop I had when I was going south at the marina, it was called Boondocks, because it was out on the boomies on the docks. And I went in there in 2006, and I had a hairstyling shop there at the marina. I ran the marina and cut hair, which was kind of interesting. Did a lot of river rescues and stuff. The Arkansas River is channelized. You got locks and dams and stuff. But the Mississippi River is not. And they would pull into the marina to gas up and maybe need parts, and I'd have to take them into town and stuff. But they'd see the haircut thing. They all wanted to get haircuts. They said only in Arkansas can you get your hair cut, drink a cold beer, and fish at the same time.
So you'd have people fishing in your chair?
Well, yeah, just for they wanted to take pictures. We rolled it outside, put it on the dock. They'd fish, and I'd cut their hair.
That's a pretty good deal for sure. And the beer ain't bad either.
The guy I was telling you about, who's the artist that does the work over there, he's over there now.
Oh, we'll have to stop in.
Yep.
You think he'll be there after a haircut?
I don't know. He's the one driving that blue truck with that Chevy on the back. But you really, when you get in there, there's some stuff in there definitely to address, because it is sharp. It's nothing like you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yep. Most of the great artists in the world, if you look back many centuries ago and stuff, they were always drinkers, or they were into drugs and stuff like that. And you could understand where they get their inspiration. This guy, he don't drink or drugs, so I don't know where he gets his. So. A little different, huh?
Wow, man, that's crazy, dude. What year is that?
1989, because this is a 92 expiration on driver's license, so 3-year license, 89. So There you go.
That's cool that you held on to that, man.
Nickname was Little Rambo back then. Now, in a small town like this and stuff, you do a lot of different things. This gig here is pretty much just a retirement thing for me, because people ask me all the time, you stay busy? Well, you're only gonna be so busy in small town USA. Come on, Bubba.
Is that what you want?
What?
To not be that busy?
No, I'll be as busy as they come, but you only got a certain percentage of the population when you cut hair that you're gonna get. And here, there's just not much of a percentage of it. My grandpa told me that I need to get in a profession that is concerned being around women. So that's how I got into the hair business. I started out to be an attorney, but all the extra schooling and the time and stuff, and so I ended up, Grandpa told me, and I went ahead and did it, and it worked out pretty good. Been at it for about 42 years now.
42 years.
Seen a lot of different haircuts come and go.
What are some memorable haircuts?
Well, like the old bowl cut when it came out. I tell people, tell kids, they go, Mr. C, can you cut a bowl cut? I said, yeah, but there's a problem. I said, what is it? I said, I can't do it without laughing. You know?
Are you married?
No, I'm divorced.
So you're single now?
Yeah, I've been single since 2006. That was my last divorce that I got. Well, one of my first wife, I buried her, and the other 7 I divorced.
So you've had 8 wives?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a lot of wives.
Yeah, they were all good-looking ladies and all good women. Just get to a point where they want to renegotiate the original contract, and I went into renegotiating, and we went different ways. So there you go. We had the only food bank in the United States that had a pro bono hairstylist. Yep.
Yeah, man. People, you don't think about a haircut like that, but you're right.
Well, you get 3, 4 kids, and here these people are coming in, like I said, getting food from a food bank just to put, so they can feed their kids. So by the time they get 3 or 4 haircuts, that's major money. Yep. So it helped a lot, and like I said, it was interesting. Some of the people you meet, it's a trip. I wouldn't sweep the floor until I got a break, all right? And it'd be maybe sometimes 2 or 3 people waiting on me. I've actually had a pile of hair that tall all the way around my chair before I'd stop and sweep. And a lot of times I'd bag it up for a lot of the redneck guys, because they'd take the hair, put it in bags, and then when they went to deer camp, they'd use the hair to head off the deer for the other camp over here on the line. They'd go ahead and put hair, and they'd divert the deer, and use the hair to divert the deer over to them. So, yeah, these rednecks, they come up with some ideas now.
And that's the scent coming off the hair.
Yeah.
The scent spooks
the
deer the direction.
That's it, exactly. But it was a trip. So.
All right. Jeez, man. All right, stand on. Let's clap it. All right, man. We're going to the drive-in tonight.
I've got a steady girlfriend. I met her this coming year, New Year's Eve, will be 2 years ago. I met her at a dance at the Fairfield Bay New Year's Eve dance.
Yeah.
She's a retired school teacher. She's a little older than me. I'm 68, and she's like 72. But there's nothing I throw at her that she's not willing to try. I took her, first time we went four-wheeling on four-wheelers, she called her son in Texas and told him, he says, I'm going four-wheeling. I said, well, you need to clear it up for him. He said, what's that? I said, you're not riding behind me, you're going to be operating your own. I can't do that. I said, yeah, you can. And so she did, and she's been doing good ever since. She'd never been kayaking. One reason she hadn't been kayaking, she can't swim. I told her, don't worry about it. You'll have a good life jacket on. If you fall out of the boat, just stand up. And if you can't stand up, you'll float. So you have to admit that, she'd never been on a Harley.
So you've introduced her to a lot of new things.
Yeah, she was married one time and stuck with her husband until he got ill. He passed on. She was right there. She's a old school lady, so She's really one of my first old school ladies, so.
Hey, you guys need to get a
I
shot
got some
up.
ham and cheese
Y'all, you need to
sliders if
show them
y'all
your
are
light
hungry.
over there.
You know what?
Your camp light up there.
Yeah.
Your light. You get a shot of it.
No.
Oh, we've got
Up there
a
on
street
that tree,
light.
way up on that tree down there.
Street light down
You don't
here.
see a night light.
No. But when it comes up fast, it goes down fast.
Goes
we,
down
knew,
fast.
we knew that. And I told her, I said, I was kind of disappointed. Yeah. And worst comes to worst, if you're in a side-by-side, you can always get out. There's a road right down here that goes up, and you come out on 110. It's rough. It's very rough.
What would you say is like home style Arkansas cooking? Like what's like the classic Arkansas dishes?
Oh my, that would be a biscuit and gravy probably, you know. Bacon, eggs, biscuit, and gravy. That's what I think of when I think of Arkansas home-style homemade biscuits. And other than that, my son was down here the other day, and he brought us some shrimp. He'd been down in Louisiana working, and we had a shrimp boil. And he said, Mom, you know the only thing you never have down here to cook? And I said, what's that? And he said, fish. No, we bought this land
About 4 years ago.
between 4 and 5 years ago, and we've
Lived here all our lives, though.
yeah, oh yeah, we fished here since my mom brought me down here to fish and swim, but this was her favorite fishing hole, and it just came up. We grabbed it, and we've worked on it and made it where we love it. We come down here and camp, fish, swim. We side by side. We trail ride. We do a lot of cooking down here. A lot of times when she's in school, she's a teacher up there, we come down here, cook supper. Even through the winter, we're down here. So that's where
What's the best way to get back here?
Probably from Fox, Arkansas, up here. It's how many miles? I don't know, several miles, but you've got main road until you get to the bottom of the mountain, and then it's river road. After you cross the bridge, you're on river road. 4x4s, 4-wheel drives, side-by-sides, that's about all you can get very far up through here.
And was it important, there's something special about getting this particular piece just because of your experience here?
Well, I was looking for a piece for a long time, but like I said, my mom's favorite fishing hole, which she fished the upper end of this. This is called Mule Bottom. And she fished this hole mainly because it was easy to get to from the bridge. You didn't have to go all the rough roads, but it was her favorite fishing hole. The Harper Bluffs run right up through here, and I married a Harper, so it has a lot of sentimental value. It does.
Could you remember any specific times when you were down here as a kid?
Oh yeah, my favorite part of coming down here was hunting for worms. This has got the railroad track. I'm sure you've seen partial bridges, but the railroad track ran right through here. And there would be drifts, and they would bring us down here. And in those drifts, you could take a stick and stick it down here at the bottom, and the worms, and I'm talking wild worms, big worms, they would just come to the top. And I love
Fish all day with them,
yeah.
And then one time when I was down here, me and my husband was down here, there's a tree that hung over right up here at the end of this thing, and there was the biggest gar. It was, I would say, over 6 foot long. A
Size of their boat.
huge gar, size of a boat. Humongous out there in that hole. That's what I remember mainly.
Yeah, you wouldn't forget that.
No.
What did you do for a living before?
I actually, for the last 20 years, I did various things at the beginning. I worked in a chicken plant over at Clinton, but then I became an inspector, a food inspector. And then I worked in chicken plants inspecting for the government, USDA, and that's what I retired at, was USDA.
Did you like your work?
I liked it for various years, but whenever this plant shut down and I had to go off, I kept my home. This was still my home. My whole family was here. I have 5 kids, but I had to go off and work, and I didn't like that.
And the chicken plants, that's big in Arkansas.
Oh yes,
many,
very big. Chicken industry's probably, that and cattle is probably the biggest industry in Arkansas. If you're not raising them, you're hauling feed for them. If you're not hauling feed for them, you're growing, laying hens to hatch the chickens. If you're not doing that, you're hatching them. If you're not doing that, you're catching them. If you're not doing that, you're processing them in a plant. So that's probably the biggest, I would say the biggest industry, just from my knowledge.
Have you ever thought about leaving Arkansas?
Never entered my mind, not one time. they all go north and west.
Yeah.
They can get it in here, and it's usually not that swift. We were down here the other day, me and one of my daughters, and we were playing. We were playing Yahtzee. And we were just sitting there, and actually was on the kitchen table. And she said, "Boy, that show got awful loud." And of course, you know, it was like it is now. It was like, and I said, so we got up and come over here. I mean, it raised just in a minute of 30 minutes. We got up there and we couldn't cross the street.
Stuck down there.
It came down.